the other sheet. Can't get next to this, I guess.
Hello, welcome back to day 3 of our Bulbasket trip. Today included the celebrations themselves and meeting various family members of those involved in the mission itself. It started with a trip back to Verrier. We met in the town square with some other reenactors from the local area, where they held a mass in remembrance of those that were lost during this mission.
Yeah. And it's left and left again, isn't it?
Thank you so much for the invitation. So honoured to be with you.
It's an honour to have you in the Jeep.
After the mass, we were fortunate enough to be introduced to Joanna Weaver, who was the daughter of Peter Weaver, who was one of the commanding officers of Operation Bulbasket.
Oh, that's the only police we've seen. It is, yeah. And there's 5 of us in a Jeep. I think we're pulling up here, aren't we?
She kind of attached herself to us and we became her chauffeurs almost, and she was more than happy to share so many stories and bits of information about her dad, and it was a real honour to be able to speak to her.
And my father then wanted to go to Sandhurst, and my granny let him know.
Thank you. So where you're sat, there would be twin machine guns normally. So that post, you sit twin machine guns on it.
Oh, here?
Yeah, so they'd be sat like this with twin machine guns, and there'd be one at the back here,
right.
and one on the side here.
Brilliant.
Vickers K guns.
Was that written for the driver who was driving it? Babby.
Yeah.
My granddad helped me build the Jeep,
Oh, he built it?
and he called everybody Bab. So I built the Jeep Bab.
You must love it.
I do, I love history and
You drive it a lot in England to
Yeah.
exhibition.
yeah, every chance I get.
I just waved to the copper. I'm not sure that was a good idea.
Someone made me put a berry on correctly. Ask Will, if you may. He's just done the most amazing photograph album that hasn't been published yet.
Oh.
I'm the first to see it today,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. It's all old wood of Bulbasket.
That would be amazing.
But we're going to get it published. It's all my photographs that I have.
Short drive away from the church, we went back to Stevens's tomb, where they held a bit of a service there as well, with more wreath laying from all the other people that had come along, a lot more family members. Stevens's nephews, I believe, were there as well. They themselves laid a wreath. Carrying on being Joanna Weaver's escort, we were then charged with taking her to the main ceremony at La Parade. So we became her taxi service to the main ceremony. And again, she was enjoying every minute of it and was quite excited to be in a Jeep, very similar to what her dad would have driven around in.
Grief, there's loads of people.
Busy, isn't it?
It's not the first time you've been, is it?
I visited yesterday for the first time. We went and explored the woods a little bit, but first time doing this.
All right. Now, so you know coach loads come apparently. So
I didn't until now, just a bit.
It's a high honour that I'm going to keep with you.
The opposite, it's an honour for us.
I'd pull in there if I were you.
Where's that?
There, where the Jeeps are.
Oh yeah.
Photo of that. Wait, stop.
Hold on.
Wow, this is amazing.
Can you get through that bog there? I'll leave it here.
We then arrived at the main point of the ceremony at La Parade. There was a large gathering of officials, civilians, family members, ex-military, all gathered to pay their respects to the Mackie and Stevens at this memorial in their honour.
Merci au maire de Verrières, Christophe Long, et les membres du conseil municipal. À vous tous. Merci.
My name is John, nephew C'est avec respect que nous dévoilons donc cette plaque commémorative en leur honneur aujourd'hui pour ce 80e anniversaire. En ce jour de commémoration, nous rendons donc hommage aux innocentes victimes de ce massacre et nous nous engageons à ne jamais oublier les souffrances endurées par ceux qui ont perdu donc la vie ce jour-là.
So everybody's going for a drink. This is back on there, so about that way to the left, which is very much my great to see. Oh right. Okay. So do you want?
Are we ready? Right. Right. Let's try again. Take 2.
After reading the book.
Shortly after the main ceremony, we were introduced to Mark Biffin, the son of Trooper Biffin, and he was also happy to share plenty of information about his dad and stories we'd not heard before.
This is all his sort of documents from there, British.
After this, we were lucky enough to meet Paul McHugh, who was one of the official historians of Bulbasket, and me and my brother had read his book.
No, that's what I've got to do. I've got to buy desert tea for when it's really hot. And then you'll have to...
After this was a rather surreal moment. We were able to drive Joanna Weaver into the camp that her father stayed in before it was attacked. It was quite a strange experience driving her to the point where her dad was and eventually had to escape from.
I think it would have been this road.
Yeah.
The Germans would have been on this road. Not that road. I think it was this road.
So where you see the students
Yeah.
shops at the top there, so some of them go up to they're mostly going to go to that's probably the problem.
Bulbasket. None but the brave need apply. They took off from Fairford to a darkened sky. It was June 44 and Bulbasket was on. Their daggers were ready and soon would be drawn. They dropped from the sky like eagles that dare, below the resistance with fires and flares. The green light was go for the very brave few, stop the Das Reich from breaking through. Lines were cut, bridges were blown, trains derailed on a World War storm. The Germans were troubled on their laboured trail to Normandy beaches where they would fail. But disaster struck on that fateful morn in a dense French wood surrounded by corn. Surprised and outnumbered, they did all they could, captured and marched to a nearby wood. Brutally cut down, they had no chance. They paid the price for a defiant stance. Few would survive this terrible deed. The Germans fought hard, but would not succeed. Bulbasket was over. They were far from home, remembered in Rom, where they're never alone. The Special Air Service was strong and brave to stop the Nazis from making us slaves. They came and fought, fearless of others. That's why they'll always be a band of brothers. Well done. Bravo, bravo.
No, that was all GC. A lot, majority of them were GCHQ that went out. But yeah, the rest was the guys who were integrated. Yeah.
It's now a Wetherspoons.
Actually being in the camp was also quite a surreal feeling. We hadn't been able to get this into it the other day because it was private property, but now standing here and being able to see the mortar craters that are still visible and the actual battle damage, it just makes it all so much more real, and it's all incredibly humbling.
Same conclusion I did about that rock that is that rock. Yeah. Really good description. It sounds like that.
Yeah.
Because he went through those cornfields
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we came through, and my father, he was quite a way further up next to the rock.
I thought this was quite a poignant moment between Tonkin's daughter, Jane Tonkin, and Joanna Weaver, standing where Tonkin took cover from the Germans during the attack and actually hid for many hours.
But you see, if you're up there, if you're on the path, you can't really see them.
When we were done in the camp, we were lucky enough to then be able to drive Jane Tonkin, Captain Tonkin's daughter, out of the camp. So we'd now been able to give a lift to two daughters of the main individuals involved in this mission, which again is just an amazing honour. After all this, we went back to the house to grab a normal car because there was we had been invited to sites further away by Will Ward and Paul McHugh, so we were heading to the drop zones and the first camp. We then arrived at La Jouarie, I believe it's pronounced. This was the first camp that the SAS had when they first arrived in the area after they'd been dropped in. It's also where the famous picture of them eating lamb was taken. This was a while before the attack.
Can't do that, they never did that. So that was only for the territorial. It wasn't. This was their no, I wasn't territorial.
He came out here 15 years ago the first time. You were here then, weren't you?
Next, we went and visited the main drop zone for the supplies and of the rest of the troopers. This was also the spot where Das Reich, a column of Das Reich, was parked along the side of the field while the SAS were collecting their supplies, and Das Reich turned off their engines and lights, thinking that the planes dropping supplies were actually bombers trying to attack them, and the SAS were able to gather all their supplies and escape before Das Reich realised what was going on right next to them. Last spot was where the jeeps were actually dropped in, which was the first operational drop of jeeps. And this was the last spot of the day before we went back to town and had a meal with everybody. And overall, it was an incredibly successful day, an incredibly humbling day. Overall, it was just an amazing day.